Welcome to Seaver College's on-demand workshop on avoiding procrastination and managing your time effectively. I am Corey Robertson, Student Support Coordinator at the Seaver College Student Success Center. Our learning outcomes today include understanding what causes procrastination, identifying barriers to effective time management, and creating a plan to overcome procrastination. First, think of an example of a time you procrastinated. This could be recent or long ago, but it should be memorable. What led to this procrastination? What was the result? For example, a freshman student stays up all night rereading a text and writing a paper and is surprised to get a grade that does not align with the A's and B's she got in high school. Keep your personal example in mind as we move through the presentation. So, why do we procrastinate? There can be many reasons, such as getting distracted, being in the habit of waiting until the last minute, a lack of accountability, such as a parent or teacher checking in with you, perfectionism, which might inhibit you from completing work unless it seems perfect, and not knowing how to complete a task, which can deter you from getting started. Now let's think about our emotional experiences of procrastination versus working ahead of time. Think for a moment of how you feel when you work on a project ahead of time. And now, how do you feel when you are up against a deadline? For example, you might feel calm and in control working ahead of time, versus working up against a deadline might feel nerve wracking because you are suddenly very aware of the possibility of not getting work done. Now, let's look at this chart of productivity and energy levels. As you can see, we start with procrastination, when we may have low energy levels and haven't yet started working. Next, we have level 2, where we might be slowly getting started. And then with level 3, we're feeling productive and motivated. We're making progress and we're gaining momentum. However, when we're working at the last minute, we risk going overboard into level 4, where the stress and anxiety of a looming deadline might actually drain our energy level and lead to 5 or burnout. So, what causes procrastination? Let's look a bit more closely at what's going on here so that we can avoid that stress, anxiety, and burnout. Well, studies show that a lack of emotional self regulation contributes to procrastination, which is cyclical in nature. Oftentimes, procrastination is triggered by negative feelings and self talk associated with a task, such as, I'm not good at this, or I'm not going to get a good grade. These negative feelings lead to avoidance of the task and the emotion. However, the procrastination itself generates additional negative feelings, such as guilt, which feeds into the cycle. So you can see that if a student avoids writing because he doesn't think he's good at it, then writes a paper at the last minute, but subsequently feels guilty about it, that actually feeds back into this cycle of procrastination. So, in order to change this behavior, we need to reframe our self talk. For example, if we say something to ourselves like, I'm terrible at this subject and won't do well in this class, we can reframe that statement to something like, I have a plan to learn more effectively and seek outside assistance. So instead of bringing ourselves down, we're focusing on the positive approach we have to complete the work. Now let's look at how to break out of the procrastination cycle. First, we need to forgive ourselves so that we don't have to feel guilty and can instead focus on the plans we have to be productive and improve outcomes. Next, we make a plan to complete our work, and that might include breaking a bigger task like writing a paper into smaller steps like creating an outline, writing a thesis and topic sentences, creating a first draft, and revising. Third, we identify resources that can support our plan, such as making an appointment with a tutor or writing our plans into a planner so that we know how much work we plan to complete each day. Finally, find someone to check in with to ensure that you stay on track and remain accountable for completing the work. This could be a peer or academic coach, anyone who you can meet or check in with periodically so that you can report on your progress. So let's look at the topics we covered today. We went over reasons for procrastination, how that relates to our energy levels, the cycle of procrastination, the importance of forgiving yourself for that procrastination, the importance of reframing negative thoughts, making a plan, using resources, working with an accountability partner, and finally, breaking out of the procrastination cycle. Thank you so much for listening, and please feel free to be in touch with the Student Success Center if we can provide any additional support.